Yo, 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 Remo Kazi here. This is the Short Man World Club. I am building a company called Company just for short man below 173. So if you are in this category of men, make sure you join over 1 billion of those type of men that we have globally. So this we grow to 100,000, 200,000, 200,000, a lot of millions of members that we have in Telegram, Discord communities below. Right now it's free. We're gonna be reacting to Height Difference Scientists Explain, full documentary. So make sure to grab some food, whatever. This will be more like a streaming clip, sometimes not 100% focused, but obviously, 15-minute video. Let's jump straight into it. Will be very interesting, I think.
Somewhere in space, the probe Voyager is carrying a gold-plated copper disc, which contains basic information about our planet for the edification of extraterrestrials that might find it. Part of this information is an image of a man and a woman. Do you notice anything about this picture? The man is taller than the woman, as if that simply goes without saying.
Why?
All around the world, women are on average smaller than men.
Okay.
Even among Northern Europeans, currently the tallest humans in the world, women are roughly 15 centimeters shorter.
Why is it always that people say Africa is the tallest human beings?
Que les choses pourraient être inversées, que les hommes soient plus petits que les femmes. Un monde où, dans la rue, vous voyez l'inverse de ce qui se passe aujourd'hui.
Really?
There are species, however, where the female is bigger than the male.
What?
Sexual size dimorphism, as the scientists call it, isn't always what we imagine it to be.
In the blue whale, the female is bigger than the male. So the biggest mammal on the planet, it's not just a blue whale, but it's a female blue whale.
Did you know that? That the biggest creature on Earth is female? So why is it that among us humans, the male is always larger?
It's a great problem to work on. Understanding dimorphism helps us to understand ourselves. It is an important question, I think, to understand why we are the way that we are.
Because of sexual evolution. It just happened. I think it's just... So my bet is it was just coincidence. And... yeah,
Regarde droit devant. Voilà.
Survival was better.
Pour grandir, il faut de l'énergie, il faut de l'oxygène qui arrive dans les cellules, il faut des hormones pour alimenter l'ensemble de la machinerie. La croissance est vraiment une résultante de plein de facteurs.
Medicine tells us that our growth is controlled by a complex interaction of hormones, the best known of which being the growth hormone.
Bro, my food that I ate when I was young was so bad.
Secreted by the pituitary gland in the brain during sleep,
I'm 20.
This travels in the blood down to the liver, where it triggers the secretion of other hormones, which make the bones grow. In fact, it's the supple cartilage at the extremities which grows and then solidifies.
Hope the audio is okay.
This process continues until adulthood, around the age of 18. Our size depends on our genetic inheritance.
Wow, she's so tall.
This is clear to see.
What?
There are tall families and short families.
But
even within one family, not everyone is the same size, and the men are usually
Shout out
bigger.
to my Vietnamese.
Could there be a tallness gene for men and a shortness one for women?
Dans les dernières années, il y a eu beaucoup d'efforts pour essayer de savoir à quel endroit sur les 30 000 gènes du génome, il y a
Wait a second. Okay, keep it going.
des gènes qui jouent un rôle dans cette variation de la taille. Il y a eu beaucoup d'efforts là-dessus. Ces efforts, pour l'instant, ils nous ont dit que dans plein d'endroits du génome, des dizaines de régions, il y a des régions qui jouent un tout petit rôle, mais finalement qui, pour l'instant, n'arrivent pas à expliquer plus que 5% de cette variabilité. Donc c'est clair que dans les années à venir, il y aura des progrès, qu'on arrivera mieux à le comprendre, mais pour l'instant, on reste assez frustré. Entre d'un côté, on sait qu'il y a beaucoup de génétique dans la variabilité, puis de l'autre côté, les données actuelles montrent qu'on en explique une toute petite partie avec les gènes tels qu'ils sont connus.
So, if size depends on all these genes, couldn't we women be just as tall as men? In fact, aren't we already catching up? Everyone says so. Girls, as well as boys, are getting taller and taller. Maybe that 15-centimeter difference will soon disappear. Yes, we are on average taller than our parents, who were taller than their parents before them. All the same, our great-great-grandparents were far from being Lilliputians. To get an idea of how sizes have changed, we need to shift our attention from the individual to groups, to entire populations. This is the work of historians. They calculate the average size of populations and study the variations. It's called anthropometry.
Sorry guys, I just
Using army enrollment records, Laurent Héberger has been able to trace variations in height
Always does
in
art,
Europe
that's French
over a
folk.
period of 4 centuries.
On ne devient pas de plus en plus grand. On observe en fait des périodes de croissance et puis de décroissance. On est plus dans des phénomènes d'ordre cyclique,
Ouais,
linéaire.
croissant.
On ne devient pas de plus en plus grand. On observe en fait des périodes de croissance et puis de décroissance. On est plus dans des phénomènes d'ordre cyclique,
Ah,
linéaire.
ein Cross, ein Circle.
Pour le XXe siècle, on constate qu'il n'y a pas d'évolution régulière de la
Why are there
stature,
all
enfin,
170?
de croissance donc régulière de la stature. Mais au contraire, on a des pays où on assiste à des stagnations, voire même à des régressions. Alors surtout au début du XXe siècle, mais encore tout récemment, donc pour les cohortes de naissance 1970, des décroissances staturales.
A cliché bites the dust. We're not getting ever taller. Some would say, on the other hand, that we are
Because
getting
we are
fatter.
better.
But that's another story.
Men are better, that's why
Concernant
it's-
les femmes, il n'y a pas de femmes qui font le service militaire, donc on a recours à des registres
Why would you think a taller height is something better?
de prison. On n'a pas d'indication
attractive
sur
to
les femmes
girls.
avant le 19e siècle. Or, l'histoire anthropométrique montre que dans cette période de difficulté, surtout de la première moitié du 19e siècle, la stature diminue, mais la stature des femmes, en général, diminue avant celle des hommes. Et quand la reprise a lieu, la stature
Ouais,
des
ça.
femmes augmente plutôt après celle des hommes.
Okay, what?
Du 19e siècle, la stature diminue,
Okay.
mais la stature des femmes, en général, diminue
Ouais.
avant celle des hommes. Et quand la reprise a lieu, la stature des femmes augmente plutôt après celle et qui montre pas recours à des registres de... Or, l'histoire d'indication sur les femmes avant le 19e siècle. Or,
Why is the
l'histoire
documentary in
anthropométrique
French?
montre que dans cette période de difficulté, surtout de la première moitié du 19e siècle,
Well,
la
it's-
stature diminue.
What are you
Mais la
wearing, bro?
stature des femmes, en général, diminue avant celle des hommes. Et quand la reprise a lieu, la stature des femmes augmente plutôt après celle des hommes.
So are men always
Nonsense.
going to tower over us by those extra few centimeters?
Well, it depends what, like, okay, let's say average, okay, that's true.
We're never going to catch them up if we're always the first to shrink and the last to start growing again. There must be some explanation for these changes.
Alors, 1m36,8.
One,
Voilà, parfait.
138, that's crazy.
Il y a bien sûr des variations qui ne sont pas dans le génome, mais qui sont...
Wait,
Alors,
height difference, I don't want to, like, don't say I'm a pedophile or something, right? But I'm just gonna like, use this girl as a statue, right? Height difference, 170, 138, 136. There's literally guys that are like 2 meters and they have a crazier height difference than this little girl and this man. It's crazy, man.
alors 1m36,8. Voilà, parfait.
Bro, what did he just do?
Alors,
Bro. Was this necessary? Is this literally necessary?
1m36,8.
What is he doing there?
Voilà, parfait.
Yeah.
Alors,
Bro. Why is your hand there?
1m36,8. Voilà, parfait. Il y a bien sûr des variations
This
qui ne
guy
sont
is
pas dans le génome,
weird.
mais qui sont des variations dans l'environnement. Et on connaît quand même beaucoup d'exemples de situations qui modifient la taille, soit à court terme, soit à long terme, et qui dépendent non pas de la génétique, mais clairement de
Nothing against you,
l'environnement.
Diet is a key factor in growth. In order to grow, we need calcium and certain proteins found only in eggs, fish, meat, and dairy products. Living conditions also come into play. A healthy pace of life, children who are not forced into labor, it all contributes to achieve what is known as one's growth potential.
Frozen food. Frozen food.
Studying people's sizes, therefore, gives historians an insight into the lifestyle of whole populations. Populations of men, of course.
L'avantage de ces registres, c'est qu'on a, surtout quand il s'agit de registres de conscrits, l'ensemble de la population qui est enregistrée. Donc ça permet de voir, par exemple, que en général, les cols blancs sont plus grands que les cols bleus, que les ouvriers agricoles et les ouvriers du textile sont parmi les plus petits. Et en Angleterre, pour citer cet exemple où là, les inégalités atteignent vraiment des sommets, au début du 19e siècle, à la période de l'adolescence, les aristocrates dominent littéralement de 15 cm en moyenne les rejetons des classes populaires londoniennes.
There it is again, the 15 centimeter difference. Size then is an indicator of social class, living conditions, diet and health.
15 centimeters. So my girlfriend has to be, for the average, 155. And if I want a short one, he has to be like 145 or what?
Ici règne une hygiène stricte d'où n'est pas absente une certaine coquetterie. Surveillé et soigné par un personnel nombreux, attentif et qualifié, ce petit monde recouvre peu à peu la santé sans presque s'en apercevoir.
Hey guys, you don't understand. You have to read.
What was true in centuries gone by is still true today. The same processes are at work.
Bro, I wonder when all of these Asian countries are gonna be like globally dating, because there's still some girls that just don't know how tall these other men in other countries are, but yeah, I think there'll be history. Like, I talked to a girl, she's literally going to Netherlands, the tallest country in the world. Yeah, I wonder why.
Now explain how the body can stop growing.
How the body can stop growing.
Dans des situations de famine, eh bien, on a dans notre système, dans notre génome, des éléments qui permettent de réguler la croissance et finalement de protéger les fonctions essentielles, comme par exemple le développement du cerveau, au détriment, je dirais, d'une fonction qu'on peut considérer comme un peu de luxe, c'est-à-dire la croissance. L'organisme arrête de grandir pour se protéger et pas gaspiller l'énergie qui est en toute petite quantité. Donc il y a une plasticité entre notre patrimoine génétique et puis les influences extérieures.
So really tall people are just not efficient.
Qui finalement nous modèlent
or they have too luxe, they are like,
au niveau de
that's why it's a sign of status height.
Size, then, is the combined result of our genome and our living conditions.
I'm also not a big fan of showing these
still doesn't explain why
girls
women are 15 centimeters shorter.
those kind of clothing.
Pendant l'enfance,
Women,
garçons et filles grandissent à peu près de la même façon. Les filles démarrent plus tôt, grandissent un petit peu moins pendant la puberté.
Okay, but like...
Les garçons, ils ont plus le temps de grandir avant le développement de leur puberté, et puis grandissent un peu plus pendant leur puberté. Puis finalement, c'est deux différences. Une différence dans la chronologie et une différence dans l'amplitude. Bah, c'est ça qui fait la différence moyenne qui existe entre les hommes et les femmes.
So there's the explanation. Boys grow for longer than girls. As far as the doctors are concerned, our film would end right here.
Wait, boys grow longer than girls?
Boys grow for longer than girls. As far as the doctors are concerned, our film would end right here. Fair enough, they need to know how the body works in order to treat it. But if we want to know why this is so, we'll have to look elsewhere. We've gone as far as we can with our medical investigation. It's time to turn to evolutionary biology.
The finding that there are growth differences between males and females is expected.
187, bro. Just please don't speak to. I don't even want to hear. I'll skip. I don't want to listen to 187.
If we want to go further than mere observation, however precise that may be, we must enter the dimension of time. and look at our evolutionary place among other species.
Guys, is evolution fact or just history? Like, do you believe in evolution or not?
Welcome to the world of Charles Darwin,
obviously,
in which human beings are just another primate, and where even a lizard can teach us something about ourselves.
Of course it can.
Effectivement, les différences de croissance peuvent expliquer les différences de taille entre mâles et femelles. Mais cette croissance, là encore, ce n'est pas un paramètre qui va être fixe pour une espèce dans tous les environnements.
Well, let me get something. Yeah, this is sugar, but I'm gonna just eat some to kind of verify my teeth.
Pour le lézard vivipare sur lequel je travaille, effectivement, les femelles sont toujours plus grandes que les mâles. Mais chez d'autres organismes, comme les tortues par exemple, on observe que ce dimorphisme peut varier en fonction des conditions environnementales. Dans certains cas, ça sera les femelles qui seront plus grandes, et dans des conditions contrastées opposées, ça sera les mâles qui seront plus grands que les femelles. Donc on ne peut pas véritablement dire que pour toutes les espèces, le dimorphisme est fixé. Chez l'homme, qui est un animal comme les autres, les mêmes processus de sélection peuvent se mettre en place, et de ce fait, le dimorphisme sexuel de taille n'est, à mon avis, pas fixé.
So men could be smaller than women, like with the lizards. It's not an absurd idea, it's sound evolutionary biology. But haven't men always been bigger than women?
Wow. Is that true? Is that true?
Just look at little Lucy, for example, our 3 million-year-old Australopithecus ancestor.
I mean, biology is always because of sex.
So the question is, in the fossil record, how can you tell if you find two different forms in the same fossil site and they look fairly similar? Are they male and female, a big male and a small female, or are they perhaps two different species? And Lucy here provides a very good example. The archaeologists decided that Lucy was a female because she was small. And in that same fossil site, you find big specimens, so they were called the males. And what is certain is there are small specimens and big specimens. The question is, how can we tell that the small ones are females and the big ones are males? And in fact, among primates, there are cases where females on average are bigger than males.
Interesting.
I think from the outset, an assumption was made too rapidly. Because she was small, she was female. And these two things are pretty circular. So it's an open question as far as I'm concerned. So I wouldn't at this point say which of those two is correct. I think it's possible that we have small females and big males, but it's also still possible that there are actually two species involved. And I do not see any scientific way in which we can be sure about the answer to that.
Some scientists then have believed it to be so self-evident that men must be larger than women that Lucy was declared female simply because the fossil was on the small side. It seems the prejudice about size difference is so firmly anchored in our minds, it can even interfere with scientific analysis. But why do we need to go so far back to seek the reasons for our present-day dimorphism? What exactly does the theory of evolution have to tell us? Scientists posited an initial hypothesis regarding a genetic mutation causing larger size, but which was only active in males. Such a mutation would have produced a taller man, who would have passed on his increased size to his male descendants, but not to the females. If the larger size procured a reproductive advantage, it would have spread, and the size of men generally, but not that of women, would have increased. The question now has to be, why would a larger size give a man an advantage? Working on species with short lifespans, researchers are starting to understand these evolutionary mechanisms.
When different individuals contribute more or less to the next generation, and different individuals...
Oh, another 85, I don't listen to this.
The males, then, would have to give them an advantage in the competition for survival or reproduction.
They interact.
A large size for males, then, would have to give them an advantage in the competition for survival or reproduction. Since Darwin, the increase in male size has often been explained by what he called the law of combat. So are men just rutting stacks, bigger and stronger to be better fighters?
Yeah, humans were basically a lot of like human bro. I think humans are like one of the biggest rape kind of species.
Generates selection, generates the But there are
this is good. I wish that this was for every human being. I don't want to listen to people over 173.
Where males are considerably bigger than females, males are much more likely to die than females, and males may die before females start commonly to die. So male pay a cost of that sex difference in body size.
These larger males would be more successful at reproducing and passing on their genes, but would be the first to starve in times of shortage. That's a bit awkward. The large size which benefits the species as a whole is a real burden for individuals, showing that an advantage can also be a drawback. So why would this contradiction come about?
These differences are commonly related to the mating system. So typically in polygynous species, polygyny where one male mates with multiple females, males are bigger than females. Then there are other species where males and females are about the same size. So for example, in monogamous species, like gibbons, where males and females typically mate for life, there is not a strong selection for body size in males, making them bigger than females, and we end up with males and females being about the same size.
This video is complete bro. So boring. Bro, those bananas are king, bro. Trust me. Oh no, it's like holy shit. I think there's some... It's definitely not good. Oh shit, bro. This thing is off. This banana has seeds. It's different. It's a little bit thicker. Small.
So if you look across all the properly monogamous mammals, males and females are almost always the same size. So there's an interesting point there that male and female humans are of course not the same size. Males are slightly larger than females, and that suggests that at some stage in our past we've been predominantly polygynous. Commonly individual males, are mated with several females.
Look the attitude of this man, because he's... Oh.
Does this mean then that we're more like deer than gibbons? The men's larger body size is the sign of a fairly recent polygyny. In which case, men, like stags, would need the weapons to fight with. Weapons plain to see on their bodies.
Rape. The comment is right.
When males compete for access to females, selection favors the development of weapons that help them to win fights with one another. These are the teeth of a male mandrill. And this animal has a canine tooth here, which is one of the longest of any mammal. Within apes, this is the dentition of an orangutan. This is a male orangutan. And it also has very, very large teeth. Not as large as the mandrill, but very, very large. And the males use the to bite. And they're obviously very, very nasty teeth. Now, if you look at bonobos, which is a kind of chimpanzee, where males do not fight very much with one another, the teeth of the male are much, much smaller. So the size of these teeth seems to correspond with how much they fight. Of course, in humans, we don't have big canine teeth. The males and females have canine teeth that are about the same size as one another. So this suggests to us that the males lost the canine teeth, probably because they stopped fighting at some point in our past for access to females. So on the one hand, we've lost the weapons for fighting for females, but on the other hand, we seem to have the differences in body size between males and females that suggest that there's still some force that's keeping the male and female size apart. And that means that the body size differences between males and females might have nothing to do with the competition. They might be more consistent with what we see in the teeth.
Okay, all you big tough guys, you can put your clothes back on. Physical strength wasn't the evolutionary force driving the increase in body size. There's another form of sexual selection. If you're choosing your mate for life, you have to choose well. What if ladies simply prefer taller men? Darwin did in fact observe that in many species, it's the females who select their partners, what he called female choice. This results in males competing among themselves for a female's favours, showing off their brighter colours, better singing ability...
Bro, sexual revolution is so gay.
Look, that females have a preference for larger males. So when they have this, then a male which is larger than average will leave more descendants than average in the next generation, and so sexual selection will favor the properties of such a male, and this can amplify.
It's all because it makes the species stronger.
Difference in size between females and males. There are, for example, very elegant experiments in widowbirds where researchers artificially enlarge the tails.
I think this guy is tall. I don't want to listen to him.
A preference for these males that were not occurring in the natural population. So this preference for a bigger size has been demonstrated very often.
So could it be our own preference for taller men that has created this size difference? Would really cap it all?
Il y a une taille idéale, elle est même extrêmement précise, c'est 1m82. 6 feet, voilà.
Ouais.
Difference would really cap it all.
Il y a une taille idéale.
Ideal height.
Précise, c'est 1m82.
No, it's 170. 170.
6 feet, voilà, c'est la taille idéale. L'avantage du gros, c'est que, bien sûr, il est d'abord désiré par toutes les autres. Alors donc, c'est quand même
Yeah, my guy.
quelque chose qui est quand même un argument pour toute femme en particulier, savoir que le choix des autres se porte sur
Join the Short Man World Club, bro.
Donc, c'est en quelque sorte une rassurance mutuelle des femmes entre elles en se disant, puisque les autres femmes aiment les grands, c'est peut-être quand même un choix sûr, parce que tout, on ne va pas se tromper en même temps. Par exemple, il y a une très belle étude sur les officiers de West Point en Amérique. Des sociologues américains ont pris toute une promotion de 500-600 officiers et ils les ont retrouvés au moment où ces derniers terminaient leur temps. Ils leur ont fait reconstituer l'ensemble de leur vie conjugale. Et ce qui apparaissait clairement, c'est que dans cette promotion d'officiers, qui était donc très homogène, tous des hommes du même âge, de la même génération, vous voyez...
Well, I can't do so long videos. I wish you can.